To delete an object in Blender, you can left click it and then press either X, or you can press the delete key. And then as you can see, Blender gives you a dialog if you really would like to delete it. And if I don't click it, nothing happens. And if I click it, then that object is being removed. So that's the way how you can delete one or multiple objects based on your selection. To add an object, you can go to the Add menu. And there you have the option to, for example, add a mesh object like a plane, cube, circle, a UV sphere, cylinder, for example, a Bezier or a NURBS curve, NURBS surfaces, text or armature or lattice, which is very useful for object deformation, and camera and lamps, which are more useful for rendering. And let's, for example, select cube. And then you see when you edit, or when you select cube, then a cube is added to your scene. Let's delete it. There's also a second way how you could add objects to your scene, and that is by simply pressing Shift A, and wherever your mouse is, a small add menu will pop up. And then let's maybe click sphere in this case. You see that now we have a sphere. In addition to this, there are a few options. For example, when you press T, you will get the toolbar. And what is very interesting to know in this situation is if I press Shift A and, for example, select a circle. Let me minimize the object tool and actually move up the Add Circle. You see now that it gives me the option about the radius and the amount of points of my circle. So let's zoom in here so you see the circle. And let's say I would like to have a circle with 4 vertices. Of course, that is a square. And you see the more points I give this, the more subdivided or rounder that sphere will actually start to look like. The same, for example, is true when I add, let's say, a UV sphere. Here now I could decide that maybe I would like to have a sphere with 8 segments and 8 rings, maybe a size of 0.5 or 1. And I can also specify, for example, the locations or the rotation. Let's say this should be rotated 45 degrees along the y-axis. So this is like one way to add an object and then change some of the parameters of that object you are adding actually. And you might have noticed that also all the objects you create are always at the world center. And that is actually because what you see here at the center of my world, there is the 3D cursor. And the 3D cursor is kind of like a marker in 3D space. And you can position it with the right mouse button. And wherever you have this 3D cursor positioned, a new object, for example, is being created. See there, or there, or there.